Uh, what is special about this festival?
This year is the centenary of cinema, and the International Film Festival of India is the first in the calendar year celebrating international film festivals throughout the world. It therefore flags off the celebrations of the centennial at film festivals. As you know, 6 months after the Lumiere brothers introduced cinema in Paris, it was screened, the Lumiere films were screened at the Watson Hotel in Bombay on 7th of July 1896. Ever since then, this city has sustained a vigorous film industry that has caught the imagination of the people, not only in India but now also abroad. And it has been the home of great filmmakers like Shantaram, Mehboob Khan, Bimal and Dutt, Kapoor and Anand, Shyam Benegal and many more who may not have originally belonged to Bombay, but all settled here to make their films. We are therefore very happy that the 26th International Film Festival is in the film city of Bombay. The message of the centenary year is to conserve and save cinema. And the art of cinema, which is now 100 years old, has become the custodian of the memory of the 20th century. If we have to retain these images and preserve them, we have to take care. We know that 50% of everything that was produced on the nitrate format has already been lost to us. And we learn that 60% of films made on the cellulose acetate.
As a venue, in comparison to Calcutta and Delhi, or Bangalore for that matter, or Madras?
You know, the Film Festival of India travels from city to city to film centers on the request of the film industry, basically, because they feel that the technicians and people who work in the film industry are not always able to travel to one place to see it. And there are centers where we have found great audiences. Calcutta is one of them, Trivandrum is another. We have come back to Bombay after 10 years. Last time when we were here, there was a great audience. I will have to see how they react now. But it is a film producing center, and I am sure that the kind of people we want to get exposure to international cinema are here in Bombay.
What is the basis for selecting films for the Cinema of the World section?
The Cinema of the World section, according to the regulations, is open to films made within the past 1 or 2 years. That means it's recent cinema. It is to keep the film industry of India apprised of the developments in the area of cinema, both technically and aesthetically and culturally all over the world. We try and bring to the festival a festival or a selection of festival films, of good quality films in this section, and we therefore look for films by good directors, films that have won awards, acclaim or some kind of recognition, films that have screened in other film festivals, and films that have got well reviewed. We also look for promising films from young filmmakers.
Who are the retrospectives devoted to this time?
What we are particularly happy about is the complete works of Fellini is available this time. It includes his ad films also. There's one on Campari and one on the Bank of America, no, the Bank of Roma. It is a very rare opportunity to see all his work on one platform, and I would recommend that strongly for everybody. Besides that, we have 3 tributes to great filmmakers: Miguel Litton, Amos Gitai and Zoltan Fabri, who has been a favorite with our film festival audiences. He died last year, so we remember him at our festival. And we also have a selection of 10 Elvis Presley films. This will, well, as you know, he is now a cult figure in America, and music is so much a part of the film culture of the mainstream in Bombay. I think people here will enjoy seeing his films. Also, these are the foreign retrospectives. Besides this, we have the focus on Asian women directors, in which there is a segment on Indian women directors. We have 10 films there, and we have a Marathi retrospective of 18 Marathi films that have been subtitled and are therefore accessible to the festival going audience for the first time in this subtitled form. This program has been put together by the state government.
In the heritage section, you have planned to show the pre-Hollywood films. Yes. Can you elaborate on that?
The heritage section includes a package of films entitled Before Hollywood. It is in 6 programs, which has short films compiled together into it. It brings you films made in the 19th and early 20th century in America, and represents their aesthetic culture and history to a great extent. It has works by Porter, Griffith, Cecil B. DeMille, and also young directors who we don't know about. I am told that these films have not been seen perhaps since their first screenings, and they not only include mainstream films but also experimental films, short films with animation, comedies, etc.
Can you elaborate on the Panorama?
And I think the main the highlight of the heritage section is these 8 films that are silent classics, which we will be showing with live music. And we're going to open the section with Dile Jigar, and Lalita Pawar will be there, a very adventurous and young Lalita Pawar, and she's coming to talk about those days. And we close with the Phantom of the Opera, for which Louis Banks has composed the music.
Can you elaborate on the Panorama section for this year?
The Panorama, ever since it was started in '78, has become the platform for us presenting the best of Indian cinema to a discerning audience. This year we have 16 features and 15 short films. What is interesting is that although the government organizations find representation, that's Doordarshan, NFDC, Films Division, etc., the large body of work finally selected is from independent producers, which is a very healthy sign, I feel.
And if given a choice, what would be your pick?
Let me take a look. I have to refresh my memory on that.
What would be your pick?
Well, excluding the retrospectives, which are really hard to choose from because they're all masters, I would recommend Nani Moretti's Dear Diary. It's very refreshing, very casual. It's 3 stories where he himself is the protagonist. It's very, very interesting. The other one that I would recommend is Once Were Warriors, which is a Maori film from Netherlands. It's about the Maoris adjusting to modernization and losing track of their inherited culture. I think it's very relevant to India. The actress in that is very strong. She won the Best Actress Award at Montreal, and it's a very powerful film. And I personally enjoyed Kablunak, which is a film made on the making of Nanook of the North. And you have Nanook's grandson playing Nanook, and Claude Masseau, the actor, looks incredibly like Flaherty. I mean, so much so that people who knew Flaherty were really flabbergasted to meet him. I think I'll restrict it to 3. They're wonderful films over there, and
What about films like Pulp Fiction and Schindler's List?
Well, Schindler's List, as you know, is our closing film. As I said, the centenary of cinema coincides with the year of tolerance, and in choosing Mammo, which is Shyam Benegal's film, as the opening film, and Schindler's List as the closing film, I don't think I could have found two more powerful films that give the message of tolerance and peace. Schindler's List is a masterpiece. I don't even think it needs talking about. I was trying to mention films that you would not really notice otherwise.
Would it be right to say that this festival has something for everybody?
It has something.
Can you just say the festival has something?
Okay.
You start with.
The festival has a lot of good cinema. It has good cinema in all the genres. It is not including documentary films now, except for the Indian Panorama documentaries. So except for that area, I think internationally everything that is worth seeing and significant in the cinema area, at least an attempt has been made to bring it to you. And we have not ignored even the commercial cinema. We do have a mainstream section, and yes, I think there is something for everybody, but it has to be a discerning audience.
Does mainstream cinema deserve to be shown in a festival like this?
Why not? It exists. It is very powerful. It represents the popular culture, and I do get requests for now for films of the mainstream from the mainstream channel in retrospectives at film festivals. For instance, at Toronto, they had a retrospective of Mani Ratnam, and Raj Kapoor has gone all over the world. Even Amitabh Bachchan's retrospective has gone to foreign countries. People are beginning to look at mainstream cinema in India as a genre particular to India. They say that international cinema has started to look alike. There's a universalization about it, and because we have an industry and an audience that is able to sustain our own very particular kind of cinema, something that is not really fitting into any of the normal grooves of cinema's genres going around the world, exists in India. And so it has a place. I don't see why not. One should not close the door to any kind of cinema.
One reason why people ask why is because most of these films which are going to be shown now already had a commercial release. They've been seen by people, and now these are being shown here. Do you think there'll be an audience for the, say, Ye Dil Lagi or Krantiveer, films like that?
The film festival is the only time when all the critics from all over the country and all the delegates, that is the film people from all over the country, collect at one place and are able to see international and national cinema on one platform. And we are really putting the festival together for our press and delegates, and also for the audiences that come and see the films, but more particularly for the press and delegates. And some of them may not have seen the films. They might not have seen all of them from all different parts of the country together. I mean, you go to Madras, you will see the films from that region, and so I think it serves a useful purpose.
Two more questions. One is on the focus on women directors. What is the objective of this focus? What would you like to? What would be the objective to?
Well, although we believe cinema is cinema, and whether made by a man or a woman, we did notice that the recent Indian women directors were all recognized and got famous for working in what is basically known as good, meaningful cinema. And it made us start to think, as do women have, are they more sensitive, or do they have different perceptions? And although we don't want to straitjacket them into a kind of feminist ideology or anything of the kind, there are themes of fighting the oppressed, or supporting the oppressed, of women as mother, women as nature, and things that seem to keep reoccurring in the cinema of women in Asia. We also find, perhaps because especially in India you have inherited some very strong concepts of women from our ancient culture, that the representation of women by women directors is as strong, if not stronger, than their Western counterparts. And this is an opportunity then to see films from all over the Asian world, including India, again on one platform. The directors are all getting together. We have 2 seminars to support this program, Asian women behind the camera and Asian women the image on screen. I think it will be a very interesting section with a lot of debate.
Finally, in the age of cable and satellite television, when they're making rapid forays into the viewing public, do you think a kind of festival of this kind has any relevance?
I think it has all the more relevance. Of course, starting from the premise that the electronic media and cinema are not the same, that it's a different form altogether, it's a different experience, and it is a different audience for both these. I think cinema allows you more time to work, and therefore it allows you more time to think and to reflect and project. And there in itself you have a quality that is hard to find in the electronic media.
Thank you.